Today we're going to be talking about Marbula One. As Season 3 disappears further into the past, let's take a look at how all the teams to ever compete stack up. There have been 27 teams to play in the first 3 seasons of Marbula One. Of all of them, the worst 7 are as follows. In 27th, the Jungle Jumpers most definitely had the worst season in Marbula One history, practically taking them from an exciting up-and-comer to a complete washed-up and nearly forgotten franchise. They scored 9 points in 12 races and got last by almost threefold. Not nearly as bad, but still a terrible season came the 26th ranked team, the Hornets, who were so bad it led them to literally not existing anymore. 1 point per race isn't going to cut it. 16th of 16. Maybe it's for the best they were absorbed by the Bumblebees. I bet you forgot how bad the Limers were in Marbula One, instead of their usual bad performances in the Marble League. The only reason this team didn't get last place 2 years in a row was because of the aforementioned teams who couldn't get to double digits. The Pinkies, another team who hasn't had much success in the Marble League, got second to last in Marbula One Season 3. They put up 44 of their 52 points in the last 5 races of the season and managed to escape the bottom spot by just 1 point. Rojo Rollers managed 32 points and 13th of 16 in the debut Marbula One season, but never had much going for them as they didn't get invited back. In 22nd are the fan favorite Oceanics, who have only competed in Season 2, where they finished 17th of 20. Oceanics were never built for speed anyway, or endurance, or precision. Wait, what are these guys even good at? Finally, of the bottom feeders, the Minty Maniacs come into first, at 21st overall. Despite 103 points, which is 16th of all the teams, the Maniacs got 18th of 20 in back-to-back years. It's seeming like the 2020 Marble League was a fluke. Let's get into the top 20 now, but don't get too excited. We're still scraping the bottom here. As an example, 20th comes the Raspberry Racers. Coming off a Marble League championship, the Racers take it easy and finish 14th of 16 in the first season of Marbula One. And they're an all-time team. I'm sure they'll be better next season. Nope, 14th place again, and they weren't invited back. Of the Marble League triplets, the Hazers and Green Ducks blow the Racers out of the water in Marbula One. 19th are the Chocolatiers, whose one season nearly put up as many points as the Racers' first 2. Keep in mind, the third season had a friendlier point system, but the gap was enough for me to put them over. That and the fact that the Chocolatiers actually won a race. 2 points and 1 place ahead are going to be the Turtle Sliders, who scored 71 points in their last season to finish 14th. A team with a bright future, but they just couldn't compete in a stacked lineup last season. In 17th come the third Marble League champions, the Midnight Wisps. The lowest team to play all 3 seasons, the Wisps had 2 bottom 5 finishes, including a dead last in Season 3. Their middling Season 2 performance was their only saving grace, where they won their first and only gold of their history. In case you couldn't tell, Marble League does not translate to Marbula One. This is the third Marble League champion to be listed in the bottom half. Mellow Yellow has never had a compelling season. They found themselves in a fun race here and there, but no finish in the top half leaves them well behind the rest of the pack. The Gliding Glaciers come in at 15th place. This is a young team on the move upwards after taking home bronze in the 2021 Marble League. They come into Marbula One Season 3 and compete. Of course, 10th isn't great, but this team was closer to top 5 than you'd think. They redefined consistency last season, but couldn't put together any big races to fight for the top. In 14th come the Bumblebees, who have been a part of their last 2 Marbula Ones, finishing 13th and 11th. They've been average to below average, but have put up enough decent performances to comfortably set themselves apart from the lowest tier. The Shining Swarm had one of the more underrated seasons in Marbula One history last season, scoring 92 points and finishing 8th place. They were in the fight practically the whole season as they podiumed 3 times, of course all being 3rd places. Nevertheless, this is another team I expect to be invited back and compete in both the Marble League and Marbula One Season 4. The Snowballs come in at 12th. We haven't heard this name in a while, but the Snowballs went on to finish in 4th place the inaugural season, with Captain Snowy finishing 2nd in the individual championship. A slump landed them in 12th of 20 in their second season, with no invite the next season. Keep in mind, the first season only had 8 races, so teams who were successful in that season will have lower point totals and averages. Still, 3 podiums including a gold is worthy of top 12 for the Snowballs. Team Primary boasts such an interesting team in their 3 seasons at Marbula One. The first, a 7th place finish absolutely carried by Prim, with Mary having one of the worst seasons in Marbula One history. In Season 2, they finished 16th, where Rima, who replaced Mary, couldn't do anything to make up for Prim's slump. Season 3 was even more interesting, as Rima's replacement, Era, had an amazing season, finishing 5th place in the overall racer standings. This should lead to success for Team Primary, but no. Prim decides to pull a Mary and has maybe an even worse season, scoring 3 points in 6 races with a friendly point system. These performances resulted in a 9th place finish for Team Primary. However, their potential from individual performances keeps them here just outside the top 10. Coming in at 10th are going to be one of the original teams, the Thunderbolts. In 3 seasons, they scored 215 points, racking up 6 podiums, a gold, 4 silvers, and a bronze. Their 13th place finish last season was the reason they aren't any higher. However, the 8th and 6th place finishes keeps them in the middle of the pack. Team MOMO, another team who played all 3 seasons with the same 2 marbles, have been consistent ever since their 11th of 16th finish in Season 1. Season 2 saw a 5th place finish, and Season 3 saw a 7th place finish. 2 golds is the most of anyone on this list so far, and definitely helps the case to be 9th. The Balls of Chaos scored less points through 3 seasons than MOMO, but I'd still say they have been more successful. 7 podium finishes puts them in the top 5 in history, and their 4th place finish last year in a hyper-competitive season was enough for me to put them higher. In 7th place comes maybe one of the favorites going into the next season. The Cobalts have been making a lot of noise all over the marble racing world, and their performance last season definitely helps. Finishing 3rd behind the historic season of the O'Rangers and Crazy Cat's Eyes is no small feat, and with Royal nearly winning the individual championship, this team is set up for success. Note their points per season, 112.5, which is 2nd place of everybody ranked. This goes to show their 8th place finish in 2021 must have been pretty good as well. Watch out for the Cobalts. I see a major championship for them on the horizon. Man, you can't make this stuff up. Team Galactic loves finishing between 5th and 7th. 5th, 7th, 5th gets them 6th place on this ranking, right where they like it. 3 golds over 3 seasons is unlike them, but it definitely bodes well for them on these rankings. Team Galactic has always been in it, but the question is, are they ever going to decide to step it up and try to win a championship? In 5th place come the Hazers, a team who has recently been completely off compared to how they were in the years before. They opened up their Marbula One run with a silver medal in Season 1 and followed up with a 4th place finish in Season 2. All of a sudden, the Hazers dropped to 17th with the same duel that had brought them success. A bottom 5 spot absolutely keeps the Hazers out of the top 4, but 4 golds makes it hard to put them any lower. They'll be hoping they get re-invited to prove Season 3 was a fluke. The 3rd of the 2019 triplets, the Green Ducks have had incredible success in 3 seasons of Marbula One. Coming in just behind the 3 champions with 284 points, they averaged just 4.6 points less than the Speeders. They haven't finished lower than 6th, and have been in the fight at the end of every single season. 8 medals is incredible, and their 3rd place finish in Season 2 is a great sign. Using the same 2 marbles has worked for the Green Ducks, and I'm sure Mallard and Billy will continue to prove that next season. We move on to the top 3, where the 3 champions compete to see who's the best. I'm comfortable putting the O'Rangers at 3rd place here. A bronze in Season 1 is notable, but the thing that keeps these guys near the top is their performance last season. The O'Rangers weren't going to let the Crazy Cat's Eyes get another easy victory, as they did in Season 2. So the teams traded blows, and the O'Rangers ended up winning what is surely the best championship race in Marbula One history. O'Rangers are legendary in Marble League, and now they are in Marbula One as well. Speaking of legendary, let's move on to the Savage Speeders, who come in at 2nd place. After being crowned the greatest team in Marble League history by me, I thought for sure the Speeders would take the Marbula One crown as well. 3 golds, 5 silvers, and 2 bronzes is incredible. And though they have overall scored less points than the O'Rangers, the early domination of this league kept them ahead. Winning the first Marbula One by a good margin, and then clutching into a 2nd place in Season 2, it was looking like here was another league dominated by the Savage Speeders. But then a drop-off happened, and there was one team ready to take their place. Number 1, without a doubt in my mind, are the Crazy Cat's Eyes. They outscored the Speeders by 40 points despite not competing in Season 1. They lead the entire group in points per year by almost 60 points. Red Eye won both individual championships he played in. They led the field in both gold medals and silver medals, and this team doesn't care for 3rd either, as 11 of their record 12 medals are from top 2 finishes. Don't forget, this is just in 2 seasons. After a complete domination in Season 2, the Cat's Eyes would have done the same thing if the O'Rangers hadn't stepped up. They could very well have won their first 2 seasons and are honestly still the favorites heading into Season 4. There we have it. Every Marbula One team ranked through the first 3 seasons. Going into next season, I'd say the Crazy Cat's Eyes and the Cobalts are the favorites, with your Rangers, Team Galactic, and still the Savage Speeders guaranteed to compete. Thanks for watching, and let me know what you think about my rankings.